Hey everyone, I hope you had a fantastic conversation about the dramatic impact that the gospel has on our lives. All of the new things that come into our lives because of Jesus, because of his death and his resurrection and his grace. What we want to do now is to talk about our practice assignment. We have one of these each week during this series. We're going to begin by debriefing last week's assignment. Last week, we invited you to spend a few minutes on your own thinking about your journey with Jesus and writing down a few items in each of three categories: influential people, significant moments, and spiritual impact. So who are the people who played an outsized role in your relationship with Christ? What are some of those pivotal moments that made a difference in your walk with Jesus? And then what is some of the spiritual impact? How has your relationship with Jesus impacted you? What we want to invite you to do now is to take a few minutes to share some of those things with someone in your group. Your grow group leader will give you the details on how this is going to work in your specific group, but we're going to take some time to just celebrate those stories that God has given us and to share some of those things we wrote down this week, and then we'll come back in a few minutes and give you this week's assignment. All right, I hope that was an encouraging time for you as you shared part of your story and as you heard from somebody else their story. This week's assignment that is going to help us continue to put into practice what we're talking about here is, in some ways, it's similar to last week's, but just taking it one step further. So like last week, we want you to spend some time this week thinking through and reflecting on your own story. But this week, instead of writing down significant moments and influential people, what we want you to do is, as you think about your whole story, your spiritual journey, your walk with Jesus, I would love to invite you to summarize it in just one or two sentences. And if you've been watching these This Is My Story videos that we've been showing in worship, and there are more to come on the website and in our services, what you've seen is at the end of each video, the person gives a 1 or 2 sentence summary of their whole story, and then they say, I'm Henry and this is my story, or I'm Huey and this is my story. We're not asking you to, you don't have to put this on video, but this is really just for you as a way of reflecting on your own story. Take a moment and just think about the high points of your walk with Christ and try to summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences. And this is not a script that you're going to have to knock on your neighbor's door and share or anything like that, but we will ask you next week to share it with some of the folks in your group, just as a way of encouraging one another of how good Jesus has been to us. So that's this week's assignment. I hope it's encouragement to you, and we will see you next week.